And there you have it. The Edmonton Oilers advance to the second round of the Stanley Cup Playoffs, as I'm pleased to be joined by Cam Moon from 630 CHED. What an atmosphere inside of Rogers Place, Cam. And the Oilers are advancing thanks in large part to their leader, Connor McDavid. Another 2-point night for him, 14 points in the series.
What can you say? A goal and an assist. That goal, I mean, he just stayed with it and stayed with it until finally gets the backhand up and over Jonathan Quick. He had drawn a penalty. I mean, there was a delayed penalty coming on his drive to the net, but just eventually able to put it in. Great effort by McDavid all the way around. Yeah,
it was an incredible effort. Producer Cole, if you can, let's show the goal by Connor McDavid. And it was quite the showcase of will and determination and grit, because Connor McDavid would not be denied. And to me, the key here is staying with it here on the backhand, Cam.
Yeah, well, that was it. And it looked like a lot of Kings players had slowed down.
Yeah.
I know there was a penalty coming, but they didn't get control of the puck, and Connor McDavid just stayed with it until finally was able to put it up and over Jonathan Quick. And a huge goal for Edmonton. In the Kings, they pushed in the third period. You knew they would.
Yeah.
Mike Smith, outstanding, able to get his second shutout of the playoffs, 6th of his playoff career. You could tell right from the drop of the puck, though. Connor McDavid, he laid out a pretty good hit really early in this game. You knew he was dialed in.
Yeah, he always seems to be setting the physical tone whenever he's having a game like he had there tonight. And there's the hit right there, an unbelievable display of physicality from the Oilers in the opening 40 minutes. And then obviously Dustin Brown, you saw him hit Connor McDavid there at the tail end of that replay, that being his last NHL game, because he did call it quits.
Yes.
Well, I guess he did announce he was calling it quits at the end of this season.
Yeah, and I, you know what, I thought Dustin Brown battled really hard here tonight.
He was great.
Yeah, I mean, he was out there hitting. He was giving it all he could. Jonathan Quick, too, for the Kings.
Unbelievable.
Held them in. The Oilers with, a lot of pressure in that second period and a lot of great opportunities, and Jonathan Quick kept them, in it. That after 2 periods, they were only down by 1. And in the third period as well, he made a lot of big saves.
Yeah, we will be hearing from 4 players. If I'm not mistaken, I may be wrong, so I apologize in advance. Connor McDavid, Mike Smith, Cody Ceci among the 4 players. Not sure who the 4th player is yet. And, of course, head coach Jay Woodcroft. You can see the scene behind us. I mean, unbelievable. Outside of the Hall of Fame room and the media room here inside of Rogers Place. And even the plaza tonight was rocking.
Yes.
The whole city of Edmonton, Cam, it seemed like, was buzzing. And the Oilers deliver. And it's a big win, but they were able to do it because they did the little things right.
Well, and that was the key. Not only did they take the body throughout this game, but they stayed on the right side of the puck.
Yeah.
How often in this game did you see an odd man rush against? Not very often.
Yeah.
They're really good that way, strong defensively, winning battles, all those little things that at the end of the game you can add it up and you're like, you're probably going to be on the better side of the game when it's all said and done. And the Oilers did all that tonight, and it was huge for them. They did a lot of that in Game 6 too. In Game 5, you give the Kings credit; they were the better team. They deserved that. They deserved that game. So, yeah, absolutely incredible. First time in the second round since 2017. The people behind us are going absolutely crazy, and it's a tremendous feeling in and around Rogers Place. Inside, it sounded amazing, and outside looked great. What a night.
Amazing scenes here out on 104th. And as we bring up the Cody Ceci goal, you and I do an intermission show here in-house, and we actually talked about Cody Ceci and how he was probably an unsung hero, especially in Game 6 with the absence of Darnell Nurse. He gets rewarded with his first playoff goal in an Oilers uniform.
Well, he sneaks in from the point, but the Oilers control the puck, and what they've done so well in this series is control it in behind the Kings' net.
Yes.
And eventually it ends up to Cody Ceci, who comes in from the point, didn't have a lot of room on the short side, but found a little bit. It had to be a perfect shot, and Ceci was able to do it, got his first of the playoffs, and it was great to see him with that incredible goal.
So remember when we were showing the Connor McDavid goal, I accidentally said Anze Kopitar's name. That's because I got the replays kind of mixed up on my end. So if we can actually show that goal one more time, Cole, take a look at Anze Kopitar on the duration of this play. So when Connor McDavid goes behind the net, as soon as we bring it up here, watch Anze Kopitar. He tries to take a shortcut to meet him on the other side of the net here, Cam. Take a look right here. Connor McDavid goes behind. Kopitar thinks he's going to meet him on the other side, but that's too much space for 97, and ultimately capitalizes, finding Ceci to find the back of the net.
His ability to spin off of checks is absolutely incredible, and that's the same type of situation where he's spinning away from a defender and then creates room when you think he has no room. It's incredible skill that Connor McDavid possesses, and all those skills were right at the absolute top tonight.
I got a question for you. When you have a series that goes 7 games, and it was a tight one, ultimately, a 2-goal separation in Game 7, and you didn't see one lead change throughout the 7 games, what does that tell you?
It's unbelievable, really, when you think about it.
Yeah.
Like, 2 teams, obviously very close. I mean, they were only 5 points apart in the regular season. They battled this hard, and the team that scored first won every game. You're right, no lead changes. It's really hard to believe when you look back at it. I mean, the odds are certainly against that. But teams pushed back when they were down, and at times could get to a tie, just could never get to a winning situation. When you think about it, it's hard to believe.
Yeah, incredible. The team that scored first in every game this series went on to win. The Oilers, of course, scoring first courtesy of Cody Ceci, and then Connor McDavid. He factored in on both goals. 14 points in 7 games for the captain, but not to be overlooked, Mike Smith. Second shutout of the series.
Mike Smith makes 29 saves tonight, and when the Kings, certainly they're pushing the third period, that's when he was really called upon, I thought, to really shine for the team, and he did that. This guy is a competitor, getting across, getting a hold of rebounds, making sure there wasn't a lot of loose stuff in the slot. You could just see the way he was right from the start of the game, that he was finding pucks through traffic, and there was a lot of that tonight, and just dialed right in. And when your guy between the pipes is giving you that type of game, you know that even if you make some mistakes in your own end, that he's going to be able to bail you out. He didn't have to do it a lot tonight, but in the third period, he most certainly did. And the Oilers only had that 1-0 advantage, so it was very important for him to be as good as he was.
The one that stands out most to me is that save with 9 minutes and 17 seconds remaining in regulation, where Moore was on the backside, and he came across all the way from his right to his left, and he was there well before the puck was there.
Well before the puck was there. There was no rebound at all. And that was a good pass and a
great pass.
The pass was fast, so he had to go a long ways to get across to make that save. So you have to have some anticipation. Obviously, you got to be a very good athlete to get across that quick, but the anticipation, and that's what a veteran's going to do. And Mike Smith, tremendous game from him tonight.
Zach Hyman may have not showed up on the score sheet, but he continues to win this fan base over, and there's a reason for that. Sorry, I heard "here we go." I thought we were going to get ready. I thought we were ready to go, but my apologies. But Zach Hyman, I mean, he continues to win this fan base over for his work on the specialty teams and also at even strength.
Well, his work ethic, I mean, it's contagious. Like, this guy battles so hard for loose pucks, for when it's along the wall, for position in front of the net. And what I really like what Zach Hyman will do, if he has the puck below the goal line, he's not afraid to just bring it out front and put it on goal. Some players are always looking for a play, and that's fine. But when you bring it out front, you're probably going to take a little bit of abuse. But he's not afraid of that. And that creates opportunity, I find.
Yeah, certainly a lot of cheers for number 18 on multiple solo efforts here tonight. Again, the Oilers winning 2-0. If you're just joining us right now on the Oilers TV live post-game show, Cam Moon and Tony Brar here alongside with you. We talked about the impact of Zach Hyman. Of course, he was the biggest off-season addition last year for this club, the biggest in-season addition. Evander Kane not showing up on the score sheet tonight, but 7 goals in this series alone.
Try and think of somebody that's been added midway through a season that's had a bigger impact than Evander Kane. I don't think you can. Strong player, physical player, has added something to this lineup with that physicality, along with Zach Hyman, that nose for the net. and also that nose for willing to get in there when the time dictates. So, yeah, he has been a great asset.
All right, we got a here we go now indeed. Evander Kane leading the team with 7 goals. But how about Connor McDavid leading the way with 14 points in 7 games? And the unsung hero of the day, Cody Ceci. They're at the podium now.
What would you, how would you describe this, rate this in all the moments of your career so far? How would you define what you think it means going forward, and what does it say about this team?
Yeah, it's definitely up there. But that being said, it's just one round. There's a long way to go here. We're happy to move on to the second round, but that's all we did. Survived another day.
And can you just speak to the parts that were involved in making this happen the way you played? That was as complete a game as you probably want to play.
Yeah, no, it feels good. It feels good to do it in that fashion. There's always a lot of talk about the defensive side of the game, and for our group to step up in a big moment and play like that in a 2-0 win with Smitty playing great and getting contributions from everyone, it feels good.
Cody, can you, nothing personal, but you're probably the last guy we expected to walk in and snipe the winning goal past Jonathan Quick. How'd that happen?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, just getting a lot of opportunity lately, playing with these guys. I find myself getting more chances and more opportunities to chip in offensively. I don't know, I'm just trying to play with as much confidence as I can, help out as much as I can, and we're just trying to go on a run here.
Connor, you guys, probably the Leafs are the same. I get it, it's only one round, but it's been hard to win this round for you guys, and the team in Toronto didn't win tonight. I know you don't want to make too much of one round, but is there a hump you get over here that just feels good to get behind you?
Yeah, of course. It feels good to win a playoff round. It's only my second that I'm a part of, so it doesn't happen as regularly as you think, but so it's definitely a special feeling.
Connor, with the way that game 1 ended, with Mike Smith, he admitted he made that mistake. Fast forward to game 7 and he pitches the shutout. Just what can you say about his steadiness and the way he reacted to that?
Well, I think it just goes to show that, series are long, and there's ups and downs throughout the whole series. Obviously game 1 and not the result we wanted, and Smitty owned up and, took a lot of blame on himself, which I didn't think he necessarily deserved. He played well. Our group wasn't good enough in front of him, but, then the disappointment of game 5, but to come back in game 7 and get a win just goes to show how long a series is, and you got to stick with it.
You played a pile of minutes the last 2 games. You were over 27 here tonight. When you're logging that many minutes, do you have to make any adjustments in your game? How do you feel on a night like this where you're racking up the minutes the way you are?
I really don't think about it. I just go when Woody calls my name, and I try not to think too much about it. I feel like I can play big minutes. I can play smaller minutes too. It doesn't really matter. I'm happy with whatever.
Connor, what sense of relief was it when you scored there, considering Quick was keeping it a 1-0 game?
Yeah, I thought we had a lot of chances to make it 2-0, even late in the second and early in the third. And you don't like missing those chances, so they were kind of hanging around, and so it feels good to be able to go up too. It's a bigger cushion.
And can you speak to Leon's game tonight, considering he was hurt and yet he played 22 minutes?
I thought he was amazing. He was just solid, just his usual self. I thought he was amazing.
Cody, you guys have been very good defensively as a team in the last, 2.5 months. You had a little dip here in the middle part of this series. What changed in game 6 and 7? Because those last 2 performances might have been your most consistent from a defensive standpoint as a team.
I think it had a lot to do with work and dedication to what we've been doing down the stretch. Just trying to stay up on them as much as possible, a hard track, get them to turn it over, and spend as little time as we could in our zone. I thought we really bought in the last couple of games, played desperate, and showed that we can be a tough team to beat.
And Connor, can you talk about, 1 goal lead for much of the game. It was a tight game, and you guys never really seemed to give up that quality chance. There's been at times maybe, that you guys made more mistakes. Like if you go back to last year, I think maybe beat yourself more than Winnipeg beat you. You guys didn't beat yourself the last 2 games. What changed in that regard? And did you feel that on the bench that you guys just weren't going to give away the game?
Oh, it's just using lessons from previous mistakes. Obviously we've made those mistakes in the past, and we didn't shoot ourselves in the foot tonight, which obviously a positive.
Cody, Cody, I don't want to assume, was this the most important goal you've ever scored in your career?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe. It was definitely a big one, and I was happy to see it go in and have the building go crazy like that. It's a pretty good adrenaline rush, and it's one I'll remember for a while.
As a defenseman, I just wondered, do you have any sympathy for the Los Angeles Kings defenseman having to go up against him?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's a world-class player. We got to see him in practice all the time, and he has another level in games, and especially this series. So there's definitely some sympathy there. But I'm just happy he's on our team.
What made him so good in these last 2 games, Connor? That is.
I think it's just his will to win. He's put in a lot of time in this organization. He's worked really hard to be the best in the world. You definitely saw his will to win in this series, and it was fun to be a part of.
Cody, you talked a little bit about the building going crazy. Can you explain what it's like to be down on ice level in this kind of madness?
It's pretty awesome. I mean, you can hear them now, even they're hanging around. While we were warming up upstairs, I could see them across the street lining up to just go crazy and support us with everything they have, and it makes a huge difference. And us coming second place and getting this game at home was big for us. I mean, they made a difference for sure.
And any preference between Calgary and Dallas?
No, I think most of us will probably just watch the game tomorrow, and either team is playing great right now. Every series is pretty close, so either way, I think we'll just have to refocus and get ready for the second round.
Jay likes to say that you guys get about 10 minutes to celebrate after win. Do you guys think you'll get a couple extra minutes tonight?
Yeah, I mean, we'll have a little bit of fun tonight, but the job's far from over. We got to refocus and get ready for round 2.
Connor, why do you think the Kings were such a tough out?
They're so structured. They play such a sound game. Todd has done a job with that team, and their players have done such a great job of buying in, and they play a stingy game, and they do a good job of getting pucks to the net and kind of breaking you down that way. But we stuck with it.
Cody, just one last one here. Can you speak to your thoughts on being here in this moment compared to your thoughts of the Toronto Maple Leafs being where they are at this moment?
Yeah, I don't want to compare it too much. I played with a lot of those guys, had a great time there. There were a bunch of great players, different series. They had a great season, and just don't want to compare it too much. Sorry.
And there was Connor McDavid and Cody Ceci, and you saw at the end there Connor McDavid waving to the crowd outside, acknowledging them. I mean, they're pretty strong out there in 104. It's quite the atmosphere as it was inside of Rogers Place. You heard Cody Ceci talked about Connor McDavid's will to win. We saw that on display tonight.
Yeah, and throughout the series, let's be honest, throughout the series, and Connor's been pretty singular in his will and desire, talking all season long about team success and how he wants to see the team have all sorts of postseason success. Yeah. And he was the guy leading the charge, and that's what you expect from your captain. Lead by example, first of all, and he most certainly did that throughout this series. 14 points in the series. Yeah. He had 3 in Game 6, 3 in Game 5, and 2 here in Game 7. So yeah, it's he was out there making it happen, and everybody followed suit.
A decisive Game 7 in that. His second career Game 7, of course. We know what happened in the eastern part of Canada, and now the continuous pressure on them when it comes to Game 7. So it's good to catch that W early and advance to the second round in terms of Connor McDavid's potential legacy in the playoffs.
No, for sure. Yeah, it's just another step. It's another building block, and he was able to help his team and lead his team to a first round victory, and getting that set now for whoever they play, whether that be Dallas or Calgary.
Yeah, Dallas and Calgary, Game 7 tomorrow night. I'm sure all of the Oilers will be watching that, as will the rest of the hockey world. We are going to also hear from Mike Smith and Leon Draisaitl, of course, Connor McDavid's partner in crime, if you will, his running mate. Leon Draisaitl, what an effort to come out for Game 7 tonight.
Well, for somebody that clearly isn't completely right, got taken down in Game 6, and that didn't help, and was a question mark. He didn't skate this morning, and played over 22 minutes tonight. That could not have been easy or comfortable, for that matter, and was out there for big face-offs, made some plays, you name it, like everything you could ask of a guy. It's not an easy situation to be in where you're not 100% and then still played as much as he did. So, we'll get a few days now until the next round, although not a lot, but a little bit, and I'm sure it'll be welcomed.
Cam, you played at a high level, Western Hockey League. Take us inside of a dressing room when one of your stars who's banged up comes out and says, no matter what, I'm playing. What does that do throughout the locker room?
Well, I mean, you have to be inspired by it, absolutely inspired by it. To have him, you need him for big face-offs. Well, he was there for that. You need him to make sure you can get the puck out and make some plays and have him there on the power play, albeit there was only one. But like that, it's inspirational to see how desperately Leon wants to win and wants to be in the lineup and wants to contribute to a victory. So absolutely huge.
Huge indeed, and it looks like Mike Smith and his family, as well as Leon Draisaitl, have made their way out to the podium here inside of Rogers Place. Let's go to them now.
Could you both speak to what you think this moment means to this team, short-term, big picture, all of that sort of stuff? How big of a moment is this in history?
Yeah, it's big, of course. It feels good. We're obviously not done. This isn't the end. We haven't reached anything, but it feels good to do it with this group. We've been through stuff all season for a lot of years, even a lot of ups and downs, a lot of negative stuff. So it feels great to have this feeling right now, and obviously adversity in this series, being down 3-2, going into LA, grinding one out, coming home, and finding a way. So, it feels good.
Mike?
Yeah, I mean, it's an experience, right? It's an experience that you can gain confidence from. And obviously being down and never panicking, going to LA and playing a really solid hockey game to get it back to home ice. Into Game 7, and then playing our best game of the series in the biggest moment. You can't help but gain confidence from that, and obviously getting through the first round has been kind of a crook here for a little while. So I think it's a big boost for this group.
Leon, can you just go through and tell us as much as you feel free to describe your whole injury situation, what you went through, all that?
I'm fine.
Thank you.
Mike, maybe you could, there's two guys. Connor McDavid really took this team in his back the last two games, and the guy next to you played 22 minutes tonight, and when the game started, it looked like he could barely skate. I guess I'd just ask you to comment on their last couple of games here.
I mean, our best players have been our best players this series. And if you want to win, if you want to get through one of the hardest rounds to get through, your best players got to be at their top of their game or better. And both guys were were horses for us, and they were leaders, and everyone else followed and did their jobs. And like we talked about it, it's not just on Connor and Leon, but they sure did a heck of a job to get us pushed in the right direction, and a lot of other guys just filled in the gaps and got the job done. But you know, a tremendous effort by both guys to kind of boost us in the right direction. And like I said, when the game was on the line, those guys were there playing their best hockey.
Leon, it seems like there's a hump in the first round that every team has to figure out how to get past. You know, we've just watched the Leafs tonight. They've got such a good team, and for some reason, they can't get over that hump. You guys have had a couple cracks here, and now you get past it. Is there something more than just winning around here? Is there something that you've accomplished that you've been trying to get at for a while?
Well, I mean, you got to win the first round to advance, right? That's where it starts. 16 teams that are really, really good teams. So it's tough to get past that first round. We saw it in our series. It's a really good team, you know, but stuck with it, you know, grinded and eventually, you know, ended up being successful. So, yeah, I mean, that first series is a tough one. Every series is obviously tough, but getting over that hump feels good right now. But like I said before, you know, we plan on, you know, continuing to play for a while.
Leon, can you, you've been with Connor every step of the way here. Can you just give me your impressions on what you saw from him these last two games specifically, just in his overall play?
Yeah, I mean, he's the best player in the world, and I think he showed that in the last two games. And I think it's not skill. There's lots of skill obviously with him. That's a given, but it's the will, right? You can see it in his eyes. You can feel it every shift that he's out there. He's determined, and there's just no way that he or us, we were going to be denied, right? So he led the way. He was amazing. So great job by him.
Mike, you sat there after game one and just kind of owned what happened, and since then it's been so good and so steady for you. How much, you know, does your experience, you know, how much did that help you just sort of push through and put you where you are right now?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it helps. Mistakes are going to happen. Obviously, you don't want to cost your team a game in the playoffs, but it was what it was. It wasn't going to change, so it's just about moving on and you know, making sure you know, put your money where your mouth was the next game and tried to battle back. But you know, that's on a personal level. As a team, we grabbed it. You know, we grabbed it. We played our best hockey in the most important games of the series. I mean, every game is important, but when you're down 3-2 going into opponent's building and you come out with a win and you come back home and play the way we did tonight, it showed a lot about this team and how we came together as a group and played. But it was easy to play hard for this group tonight, obviously, and throughout the whole course of the series. It's a great group to be around, and it's been a pleasure to play with these guys all season long and battle with them, and it's put us into a position where we're moving on to the second round, and anything can happen. You just got to believe in what you got here, and we've battled through some adversity in the series and you know, overcame that, and that can only work in your favor. And you know, like I said before, build confidence moving forward.
For Leon over here, you guys fought off elimination in Game 6, like Mike was saying. You come out here and you brought out a game that looked like it could beat anybody. Do you think that maybe something is clicking here, and teams talk about finding out what it takes to win and all that? You can't imagine this doesn't make you guys a stronger team moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've done it all year, though. We've faced a lot of adversity all season. You know, there's a lot of ups and downs, a lot of people that counted us out long before the playoffs started, and we grabbed it. And I think that's, you know, that shows what kind of a group we are. You know, we're a tight group. We love playing for each other. We know that there's nights where we're not at our best, but yeah, it's adversity, and I think this team does a really, really good job of facing adversity and coming out on top. And obviously, going into LA in Game 6, you know, the season on the line, I thought we played a heck of a game, like Schmitty said, and then tonight again. So shows a lot of character.
And for Mike, I know you haven't been here for a lot of the downtime and such, but did you get a sense of relief in that building? Like, all playoff crowds are good, but that was something pretty special down the last 5 minutes here.
I mean, unbelievable, to be honest. I don't think I've ever heard a building so loud and crazy in all my career, and I've been in the playoffs a couple times and been in some wild buildings, but that was pretty incredible to be a part of. And the last couple of years with no fans it's sucked, to be honest, and even not getting through, but just playing with nobody in the building, it was disappointing. But like I said, to win a Game 7 at home in front of your home fans gave us a boost right from the drop of the puck. It was an incredible feeling, and one you'll grasp onto and hopefully take us into the second round with the same momentum.
Mike, you've played a long time in the NHL. I think you're the first player in NHL history to play over 600 games in the regular season and finally get to a Game 7. I know your two boys are here. Can you talk about just like enjoying the moment? Like, Game 7s obviously are rare for some people to get into, and then you pitch a shutout to boot.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I wasn't really approaching it like a Game 7. I know it was an important game, but I just wanted to be calm in there and for our group, it was pretty calm in there, to be honest, with the way we played. We like I said, we played our best game in the most important game of the series, which was tonight. When it was easy to get caught up in the emotions of the game with how loud the rink was, but like I said, we used that energy in a good way tonight, and really, really a determined effort by our group that we weren't going to be held without winning that hockey game. And obviously, played on some good teams and played in the playoffs a little bit, but to play in a Game 7 at home and to win is obviously a moment that I'll remember for a long time. And just the energy in here and this group of guys that I said, has been a special group all season long, but there's a lot of work left to do. And obviously we want to enjoy this. Like, to get through the first round is difficult. Obviously, it's been a while here, but we want to enjoy it and then prepare ourselves for another big test in the second round.
Leon, Mike talked about how your best players have to be your best players, but in a series, you always need some guys to step up. And Cody Ceci tonight not only scored a goal, but you guys had some really good chances, and he buried his. And you're a guy who's scored a few. Just talk about Ceci's game overall, but just the importance of that goal for your team at that moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's just so steady, right? Like, steady Eddie. He's so good at what he does. You just know every single day what you're gonna get from Cecil. Sorry. But yeah, it's amazing for a guy like him to step up the way he has all playoffs. Really, the whole first round, all season. He's been so steady, and then obviously for a guy like him to chip in offensively is big. And yeah, game winner in Game 7. So good for him.
Mike, this might seem like a stupid or maybe obvious question, but what makes Connor McDavid so dangerous in the offensive zone, and especially in these last two games?
I mean, I could be here for a long time telling you all the things he can do, but like Connor touched on, he was a determined player and a player that you could see it in his face that he wanted it more than anybody else in the ice, and everyone else just kind of jumped on his back and followed his lead. But he can change direction so fast. He's got unbelievable vision. He can shoot the puck quick. He can find players that are open. I mean, he's a special talent, but when you can raise your level of play after what he's done in the regular season to what he's done in the playoffs now, it's easy to jump on board and give it everything you have for, a captain like that and a leader, and everyone followed his lead.
Leon, and you said earlier in the series how much Todd McLellan kind of meant to your early part of your career in this team. Looks like you had a pretty meaningful conversation with him in the handshake line. Would you be willing to share what you guys talked about?
Yeah, I mean, he just congratulated me, or us, I guess. I have obviously a really good relationship with Todd. Kind of brought me into the league and learned a lot under his time here in Edmonton, and great coach. You could see it. You know, his teams are playing well for him. So, really good coach, really good person. So yeah, it was obviously nice to beat him. No secret about that. But yeah.
Sorry, mic's off. Mike touched a little bit on the energy in the building tonight, but I wanted to get your perspective too. What does this feel like?
It's everything. It's what we play for, right? Game 7 at home. You can't write this any better. You know, these people are clearly very passionate, very obvious. There you go. But it's great doing it for them. Obviously, we play within our group. We play for each other in our team for our guys in the room. But we also do it for the city. You know, we do it for the fans, the people that support us, that spend a lot of money watching us in these games and really cheering us on when it's not going so well or when it's not going our way. So. It's a great feeling to be able to take that step and do it partly for them as well.
And Mike, you played for the Flames for a while. Would you prefer Calgary or Dallas in the next round?
I don't really care.
Good.
And there was goaltender Mike Smith, who pitched his second shutout of the series, 29 stops for number 41. And of course, Leon Draisaitl playing 22 minutes after that injury in Game 6. We talked about the heart from number 29, the skill and the speed from the captain, all the stops from the goaltender, the collective effort all throughout. And I got to ask you, did you kind of get a sense that this team was building a little bit in the face of adversity after dropping a pair of games in the middle of the series?
Absolutely. And dropping the first one, you know, in the way that they did, to be able to battle back from that. And now you're past the first round, and now it's a clean slate in the second round, whoever the Oilers may play. And you have that momentum of winning a round, getting over that hump, all those things. Hopefully a day or two to get some mend on a few that you know have the bumps and bruises and what have you. So yeah, you can feel that with the entire team, I'm sure. And I love how they acknowledge the crowd and the people that we have outside the Hall of Fame room here, making so much noise. And throughout the game, even in warm-up, when they came out for warm-up, it was loud.
It was unbelievable.
So that I'm glad that they acknowledged the fans, because I felt like they were a big part of it tonight.
You're talking about the fans behind you. The most popular man in the room right now seems to be Cam Moon. Everyone wants a piece of Cam, trying to wave at him and trying to get his attention, turning on the phone
Cam,
lights.
get out of the way. Get out of the way.
I got to ask for your autograph before this is all said and done. Again, if you're just joining us here tonight on the Oilers TV live post-game show, the Edmonton Oilers winning 2-0 to advance to the second round in McDavid, Draisaitl's, Nugent-Hopkins, and Nurse's career for the second time in their career heading to the second round.
So yeah, that's it's special for those guys to get through that. And I mean, that's now it's just another part of their experience. I mean, for everybody involved, it's just another building block. And now we'll see what they can do as they move towards the second round, and whoever they play and what they bring to that. And because you never know. Like, you look at what the Montreal Canadiens did last year. They squeezed by in 7 against Toronto in the first round. I mean, they barely got into the playoffs last year in that Canadian division. They go all the way to the final. The beauty of the Stanley Cup playoffs in the NHL is, if you're in, you've got yourself a chance. Like, you absolutely do. And it's happened time and time again where teams go on a run, and sometimes after battling some heavy adversity in the first round, much like the Canadiens last season, the Oilers did. They were down 3-2. It would have been easy to write them off at that point. Had to go into LA and get a big win. They found a way to do that. And then in Game 7 here, they were the better team, even though it was close. And it really came down to the wire. they were the better team tonight, and they deserved the win.
I liked a couple of things that you said there. Anything can happen, and it's a clean slate from the second round onward. Well, talk about what happened tonight. Connor McDavid magic. That's exactly what happened tonight and throughout the series. We're going to continue this Oilers TV live post-game coverage. We have head coach Jay Woodcroft. A big plus for him, too. Gets it over his good friend and mentor, Todd McLellan. That must feel special for the Oilers head coach.
I'm sure it does. I mean, since Jay Woodcroft and Dave Manson have come in February, I mean, they've done an amazing job. The team has really, turned things around, even though it had its ups and downs. There were certainly some good, but there was some downs as well. But, those guys have turned it in a real good direction. The fact that, Jay had worked with Todd before, there's a little extra spice to it, sure.
Of course, a little conversation on the ice between the two as well, and I'm sure they'll be touching base in the next coming days as well. All right, we're going to continue this live post-game coverage. We have head coach Jay Woodcroft coming to the podium in just a few moments. Stay tuned.
When beyond the fact it sends you to either Calgary or Dallas, in the big picture going forward?
Terry, I'll answer your question in 1 second. Before I get started, I just wanted to congratulate Dustin Brown on a heck of a career. He's a champion, played his last hockey game tonight, and I was proud that I got to witness his last game. I'd also like to congratulate the Los Angeles Kings in their leadership under Luc Robitaille, Rob Blake, Todd McLellan, Trent Yawney, and their player leadership, including Anze Kopitar, Dustin Brown, Philip Deneau, and Jonathan Quick. I thought that was a heck of a series, just an absolute heck of a series, and it's a credit to both teams for playing as hard as they did. Now, getting back to your question, as we move forward here, I think for our team, that series pushed us in a certain way that made us grow. And we learned a lot about ourselves over these last 2 weeks, and the price that needs to be paid to have success at this time of year. I'm proud of our group and looking forward to moving on to round two, whoever that is against.
Can you detail the specifics, particularly in terms of limiting the A chances or whatever for Los Angeles, the way your team, despite the fact that the puck wasn't going in, was so disciplined in detail all the way through?
Yeah, I thought we tried to put an emphasis on playing the game tight, making sure that our numbers were tight. There wasn't big separation between our players. Ever since Dave Manson and I have come up from Bakersfield, our work back to our end has been a real focal point for our team, being organized in how we work back to our own end. And thought tonight, in one of the most pressure-filled situations of our year, and in fact, in the last two elimination games that we were facing, we had habits that held up under pressure. And that's a good sign for us as we move forward.
Jay, have you ever seen a more impressive set of back-to-back games by an individual player than the two that Connor McDavid put together in the last couple of games?
No.
Why?
Well, I mean, you guys were a witness to what I was witness to. I just had a nice level seat. For me, I remember when he cracked 100 points, and then, he set a career high in points this year, and so many great individual highlights. And the one thing I kept going back to is that he's driven to win. He's a fantastic teammate. He's a leader who leads by example. And I'm happy for him. 2 really, really good hockey games on his part.
Leon and Mike both said that they could see it in his eyes tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see it either before the game or on the bench early on that he was going to bring it?
Yeah, I did.
Jay, you had a lot of players. Obviously, your great players were your best players, but defensively the last few games, there's a few guys like Tyson Barrie isn't necessarily noted, but you guys were giving him a lot of defensive zone stars. Can you just talk about your defense core specifically and certain guys like that, like putting Kulak and Barrie out consistently in D-zone starts?
Yeah, I think, when you come into a new program, which Dave and I did, we didn't come in with any preconceptions about anybody. I had experience with players that we've had in the American League or guys that I had been around up in Edmonton, but we wanted to coach with our eyes and give people opportunities, fair opportunities, and allow them to show us what they could do and couldn't do. And I think I've said it over the last 3 months. I think we got really good players. We're bullish on our players. We think we have the necessary ingredients in that dressing room that can play against any team, any individual, and as coaches, we try and trust our players.
You guys were leading, and you never really sat back. Was that because sometimes a team will sit back when they have a lead, and sometimes it's subconscious. It's not like you tell a team to do it. But what impressed you about the fact your team just kept going, and then Yamamoto hits a goal post, and Archibald gets stopped in a breakaway, and sometimes that might deflate your team, but it didn't.
No, I think that's the mindset we wanted to have. Yesterday, we had a really good meeting, set us up for today, and we talked about hunting the game. We wanted to hunt the game. We didn't want to sit back on our heels. We want to be on our toes and get after this game. And when we come up with a game plan, it's not for 10 minutes. It's not for 20 minutes. It's for the full 60 minutes. So that's a mindset that we try and coach.
This organization's always been pretty good playing 5-4 hockey. Connor McDavid said in here after Game 5, 4 goals got to be enough to win a playoff game. I know you've been working on defense, and the numbers have been great since you got here. But is there a bit of a metaphor to the fact you win this game 2-0 and it's a defensive, you pitch a no-hitter here?
Yeah, I thought there was numerous games down the stretch, big games, where we saw a lot of really good signs against good hockey teams, and that prepared us for these type of moments. Last game we won 4-2, but that was an excellent defensive game as well. And then tonight to finish it off with a 2-0 win, it's a credit to the self-sacrifice. It's a credit to their work for each other. It's a credit to Mike Smith for coming up big when we needed him. And, I think our mindset now is to enjoy this tonight and kind of recalibrate. Tomorrow, it'll be a day off for our players, and by the end of the evening, we'll know who our next opponent is.
On Leon, look, everybody's playing. There's lots of guys that are nicked up, banged up, but he's obviously gifted. He's improved his shot. He's as good on his back end as anybody in the league. But it's his competitiveness and his desire as a player. There's other guys that maybe wouldn't have been able to play in that situation.
Yeah, he's a warrior, just an absolute warrior. He's a big, strong guy who, like Connor, is driven to win. I think that type of mindset, when you see people play through stuff, is contagious. And they were a big reason, huge reason why we're at where we're at, which is we're advancing to round number 2.
Jay, do you get a sense of how big this win is? You're the last time this team advanced to the second round. It's been 5 years. Do you get a sense of, you got to get over this hump to get to the second round? Do you get a sense of how big this win was for the franchise?
Yeah, I think it's an important win. I don't think we're planning on stopping here. We're trying to get some rest and some regeneration and prepare for the next challenge. And for me, we said this to our group yesterday. We didn't come this far just to come this far. We're here to progress and continue to move our needle forward.
Jay, what's it like to coach in this kind of an atmosphere?
It's a dream come true for me. The atmosphere, obviously, the city of Edmonton's behind us. The rink was electric today. But for me, I enjoy when teams come together and really, really lay it on the line for each other. That's where I get my juice. It's why I do what I do, and I'm thankful for the people I get to work with and for the hard effort of our players, because we know that anything worthwhile is achieved through hard effort, and I think we saw that tonight. Thanks, guys.
And there was Oilers head coach Jay Woodcroft. I like that quote he said at the end there. We didn't come this far just to come this far. They want to continue moving the needle forward. They obviously did that tonight with a Game 7 victory over the LA Kings. Opponent, TBD, to find out. But exciting times here in Edmonton. No doubt, especially with the crowd behind us. I mean, it's unbelievable. I know I keep bringing it up, but like they're truly mind-blowing.
And they got staying power, too.
Yeah.
Like, they've put in a long shift, let's be honest. Most people have been here since about 6 o'clock, then went through the game and show zero signs of going anywhere at this point. So, love it. Love to see downtown as busy as it is, as festive as it is. It's wonderful, and that's what Ice District and Rogers Place is all about. So, yeah, great to see that. Great to see the team moving on to the second round.
Yeah.
It'll be fun to watch a Game 7 tomorrow night, knowing that whoever wins, the Oilers will play, but it's pretty stress-free because you know the Oilers are in the second round. So, yeah, I'm going to pop a great big bowl of corn tomorrow, and I'm going to kick back, and I'm going to watch Game 7.
I like that. I like that. Beverage of choice? Do you have one? A water? An orange juice?
Yeah,
You seem like you have like...
Well, it'll probably be a water, let's be honest. That's probably what it'll be.
Well, it's going to be a great time regardless. Obviously, all of the hockey world and all of Oil Country will be watching the Calgary Flames take on the Dallas Stars tomorrow night. Of course, the winner of that will play the Oilers in the second round, and we'll determine if the Oilers play Game 1 and 2 here at Rogers Place if they face the Stars, or Games 3 and 4 here at Rogers Place if we see a Battle of Alberta. We talked about how much you love the crowd. I always love having you on board here on the Oilers TV Live post-game show. Thanks so much for joining us, Cam, and thank you for all joining us here tonight on this special Saturday night. We'll see you in the second round.